Hi everyone, it's Sunflower Spirit here, and I'm here to do another pick a card reading. And today's pick a card reading is how can you better achieve your desires. So I have three piles here. I have the first pile, Siren Spellbound. Pile number two, Island Estrangement. Pile number three, Lighthouse Spirit Guides. So go ahead and take a moment, pick your pile, and then we'll get started here. So hi everyone, this is for those of you who chose the first pile, which is Siren Spellbound. So we're looking at how you can better achieve your desires in your life. So the first thing that I'm getting is that if you chose this pile, you have a very magical thinking. Like you go to this sort of fantastical place in your mind. Sirens are mythological creatures that are they would be able to kind of lure the fisherman or the seaman in, and then you know, then it was kind of like a trap. So I'm almost wondering if you have a tendency to kind of get trapped in your illusions or in your fantasies, or and maybe not even trapped, maybe more just you're you're very what's the word, creative. Like you have a very creative mind, you have a lot of really good ideas, and maybe sometimes people find it hard to relate with you because they're like, why aren't you just down to earth or whatever. But let's get into it and see what else. So how can pile one better achieve their desires in life? I also feel like you have a real good sense of your emotions if you chose this one, because we have jellyfish on this card, and this this looks like a mermaid, which usually they're like mermaids. You know, the sirens are the one that sing. I always think of, what's that movie called? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Those sirens in that movie. I always think the guy, he was drawn to their voices because it was just so pretty. He just was drawn to their voices, and then it was funny because the other guys woke up and thought that he was a frog or whatever, thought that the sirens had turned him into a frog. So kind of like this wishful, magical thinking. That's where I'm getting that. But let's see what else. How else could pile one better achieve their desires? How else could pile one better achieve their desires? We have the fates. So yeah, there's something very strong about your destiny, your fate, something like your life purpose. This is about your life purpose. This is number 17, which is also the number of the star in the tarot. So there's something about healing here, healing your emotions, healing. I always get solar plexus chakra with this one. I also get crown chakra with this one. So how else can pile one better achieve their desires? Go the distance. So yeah, sometimes it means taking off with things, making sure that you're not just sitting in. I know a lot of times this happens for creative people a lot, where they have these amazing ideas, but the actual application, the actual carrying out of the ideas is kind of what creatives or gifted type people sometimes struggle with. And so they're saying go after your dreams, do what it takes, do the foundational work, um, before, so that you can run that far. Cheetahs are very, they have a lot of endurance, they have a lot of perseverance, so it's kind of stay the course too. And this one would break down to an 11, and this is an 8. So I don't know if those numbers. That's weird because my son's birthday is 8/11. Anyway, um, and then we have Unfinished Symphony on. Yeah, so I'm almost wondering if if you chose this pile, you might be a very, very imaginative. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Very imaginative individual. You're somebody who has a lot of ideas, but it's just that carrying it out once again, the persevering, following through with it, and which is very relatable. I could definitely understand that. So you're very creative, very, maybe music is important to you. I feel like writing could be important to you as well. And then I also feel like you just kind of have these really, really great ideas. But I also feel like maybe you're a little bit distracted with the Siren card here too. You could have a tendency to like get distracted by, you know, shiny things or beautiful things, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Pleasing aesthetics. Yeah, things that are like pleasing to your senses. You get distracted by them. But let's see what else. This is the fairy tarot. So let's see what else for pile one. We have Eight of Summer. The desire for more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes. Yeah, yeah. So this would be like the Eight of Cups in the original tarot, but you know, we could recognize and appreciate this card for what it is in the fairy tarot, which is like kind of what I've already been saying, where you're like kind of realizing, maybe you realize that you kind of like live in this fantasy and it's time to like put a practical application to all these great ideas that you have. This one really wants to come out. It's the Three of Summer. And it says, news worth celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduations, or birth, friends you cherish. So this is about like spending your time with others. I think it's interesting the picture on the card because that really reminds me of sirens too. Those are fairies. They're just having fun in the water. They're embracing change. They're embracing change together and they're enjoying time together with others. There's also like a very loving energy here too. So like maybe rely on your friends. We have the Nine of Winter. So the Nine of Winter, unfounded fear, focusing on worst case scenarios, allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the problem. This would be like my Nine of Swords card. So maybe like something that's holding you back with achieving your desires is that you get caught up in your head and then you start like having these sleepless nights and then you just like I was talking about that rumination in a video I did the other day. I wonder if you might be like a ruminator. And so you have all this like magical thinking. I almost wonder if this could be like part of a trauma response for you, where you go to this magical thinking place, because that is a trauma response. I'm not like judging anybody. I just like I've seen and heard it all at this point. So it's not a judgment. It's just more based off of my experience working with people and based off of like the human condition in general. So please don't be offended if I ever say like it's a trauma response. That's just meant to be like more helpful to you than it is to like harm anybody. Um, then we have the Wheel. Delays are over, sudden or unexpected good luck, a new car or travel. So possibly travel could be important to you too, or working on working with the universe, allowing the universe to like support you with working on these desires, these goals, achieving these goals. Let's see what else we have for pile one. We have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, so I feel like maybe you have like a little bit of imposter syndrome. This is I don't know if you guys know about Carolyn Miss, but I would really recommend, if you like my channel, you might like her. And you probably heard of her before if you're at my channel, honestly. But she is doing this series now on archetypes, and she was talking about the saboteur, and the Five of Pentacles really embodies the saboteur archetype. It's like how we create life, we create blockages for ourselves based off of this false idea that we're not enough, or that we don't have enough, or that we can't, like we sabotage ourselves, or we sabotage other people as a means to kind of like feel powerful or be in our power. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here too, is you might have a tendency, like I said, that imposter syndrome. I do feel like whoever chose this pile is a very creative person, very, very excellent ideas. Needs to like write down these ideas, create, like if you're an artist, you need to paint them or draw them. If you're a writer, you need to write them. If you're a musician, write it down. You have some excellent ideas. Oh, Wheel of Fortune again. So I feel like universe is really saying that like whatever you want, like you just need to rely on them. Maybe it's like a trust in yourself, a trust in the universe, a trust in God, a trust in your higher self. They're saying, yeah, like this is a yes card. The Wheel of Fortune is yes. And the universe always says yes anyway, but the Wheel of Fortune totally reiterates that. It's like, I want whatever you want. Tell me what you want. You could have it. And so this is the universe. We have this twice here where they're saying, I'm willing to work with you. I want to work with you. Let's see what else we have. We have the Two of Wands. Yeah. So I feel like, again, this is like a lot of time spent in your head, a lot of time like wondering about things or imagining things or fantasizing about things. And they're really saying, they're like, no, you need to like go after it. You need to, get that self confidence with this solar plexus chakra. You need to move on from things that aren't working for you, take a risk with something, move on from this, imposter syndrome. Um, and move, take these take these like fantastical thoughts and create something for yourself. They're saying it could take a while, and that's okay. Like the Knight of Pentacles, he has a good intentions. It just takes him a really long time. He plans things out. His journey is pretty long. Like it could be painful to especially someone who's as creative as you are. Yeah, the Magician under the wheel. So I feel like there's something unfinished that you need to do. There's something that you're still here to do. This is part of your life journey. This is your purpose. You need to go the distance. You need to persevere. Get out of your head. Your head is what's holding you back. These thoughts of like not being good enough, these thoughts of being an imposter, are what holding you back. So hopefully that was helpful for you, Pile One. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope this resonated. And if not, you can always pick another pile. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. All right, this is for those of you who chose pile 2 or Island Estrangement. We're looking at like how you can better achieve your desires. So I'll pull some of these fairy cards and we'll take a look and see. What I'm getting from this Island Estrangement is that like you feel like I feel like you might do things a little bit differently than others. Maybe you have like a different way of doing something, or you could possibly have like some sort of like, uh, I don't know, just way of thinking or mannerisms. Maybe you are kind of like the black sheep of the family, and so you feel like you're kind of like always have to kind of figure things out on your own. Um, And I'm also getting this, so your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. So how you feel about yourself kind of relates to your creativity and your desires. And so, sometimes when you feel like isolated or alone, I feel like this can hinder you with getting your desires. But let's see what else we have. What else do we have for pile 2? We have the Hermit. And it says, find or be a mentor, take a break from society, a commitment to your spiritual growth. Yeah, so you might be like actually just like a loner. Like maybe you just enjoy spending time alone. But I do think, everybody kind of like craves that connection. I do think sometimes this gets to you and sometimes it gets in the way of the things that you want. We have awakening. Change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness. A temporary pause in action. Oh my gosh. So that's like the Hanged Man. So they're saying like, sometimes when you do feel this estrangement or you do feel like you're an island, like all by yourself, like they're saying to kind of like shift your perspective, like I was just saying, like maybe you just like to spend time alone, maybe you just enjoy introspection. We have Eight of Winter. You have what it takes if only you believe in yourself, thinking that you're powerless when you're not. A lack of self-confidence that keeps you from getting what you want. Oh my gosh, did I just not say that? So yeah, just kind of reiterating, like you get in your head, you have a tendency, this is like the Eight of Swords, you have a tendency to get in your head. Then we have the Ace of Spring on the back of the deck. It's time to take action, be fearless and happy, and happily pursue your most treasured dreams, amazing career opportunities. This is like the Ace of Wands. So I feel like you do have like, this is sacral chakra. Again, you have a lot of desire, you have a lot of passion, you have a lot of inspiration. And so they're asking you to really like take a look at that and kind of like work with these energies. Let's see what else we have here. So yeah, needing, I think for you, it's going to be like taking a different perspective, being okay with kind of like the Hierophant. So yeah, like learning stuff, being okay with like being different. Yeah, a lot of growth, a lot of lessons. You could be like a life path 5 too. I'm getting that here with the Hierophant, 5 of Wands. So a lot of like conflicted energy around you, but you try to like strategize it. Your way of dealing it is strategizing it. They're saying instead of strategizing it, you need to figure out to take like a different perspective. So let's see what else we have here. We have the World. So again, this is like kind of getting out of your head, like, you know, I feel like for you it's perspective taking. Like you have a lot to offer, and I feel like, you're kind of one of those people, like I'm thinking like Stephen King type, where like, Stephen King actually enjoys like being by himself and being alone with his thoughts. And that's why he is such a good author, is because he spends that time, he takes that time, which sometimes, I mean, you can tell by his writing, it's got to be very uncomfortable to live with some of those thoughts that he has. Um, but he does that, and then he produces this, like, these books that people just devour. And so I think that, like, that's kind of what the energy, I kind of seeing a similar energy here for those of you who chose this pile, is like, you're a very creative person, you're very passionate, very inspired. You could be a writer, because we do have the Ace of Spring, or the Ace of Wands here. Um, and I feel like you've learned from your experiences. Like this pile, if you chose this pile, you have a lot of experience, you have a lot of wisdom. Maybe you've even like traveled the world, or you've done like cultural studies or like anthropological studies or something like that, because that's kind of what I'm getting here, with the World card. But I do feel like life has been harder, and so you kind of like internalize that, which is totally fine. But like when you internalize, you come up with these great ideas, and then so you're just constantly like learning, like you're constantly like thinking about things. We have the Seven of Cups here. This card always reminds me of the Star card. So something about like healing, something about like how you perceive the world. You perceive the world so much differently than other people. It seems like, I think that's why you sometimes feel like an island. And so like, what I'm really getting here is to kind of recognize where your success is. Like take a different perspective on things. Don't get stuck in your head. Don't get caught up in being like this loner energy, because I do feel like even though you enjoy it, I feel like there's a part of you where it's like, I just wish that I could like relate better to other people, which is fair. Like we're all people. Let's see what else we have. Regeneration. Yeah, you're somebody who can like, go through like the harshest of things, go through these harsh things, and you just internalize it. You don't really rely on others for a lot of support, but it just makes you so much wiser, and you just come out like, it's almost like I'm getting like the lotus story, like where the flower comes up through the mud. It has to go through that muck and the mire. It has to be that muck and that mire before it can be that beautiful flower. So that's kind of what I'm getting. Okay, so we have orphaned. Yeah, again with the estrangement, you feel like a different, like, you feel disconnected somehow. But I feel like this disconnection is almost like one of those things where like, your hardships make you like a better creator, or help you to get on the path that you want to go, or something like that. And then we have TikTok. So something about timing here. Maybe you feel like you're running out of time, or maybe you feel like you're on a different timeline, or something like that. And then we also have yin, which is feminine energy. So something about like your divine feminine energy, which everybody has masculine and feminine energy. So just paying attention to, when you do go into this like hermit island orphan type mode, that you're connecting with that like divine feminine, that creator within you, that births these new ideas. So I think that's what I have for you guys. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope that resonated. If not, though, you can feel free to check out another pile, and I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you. All right, this is for those of you who chose the third pile or Lighthouse Spirit Guides. And today we're looking at how you can better achieve your desires. So let's see what messages we have. So right away, I'm getting a sense that you kind of provide, whether you know it or not, you're kind of a person who is very connected to your guides, to the universe, to God, your higher self, your angels, whoever, whatever it is you believe in. But not only that, you're an inspiration to other people's, and so you may not realize this, you may not recognize that you do this, but I feel like you're someone who, just by being yourself, you actually inspire other people to be who they are as well, which is very, very beautiful. You create this sort of like light in the darkness for people to kind of like grasp onto and follow. So we have the Four of Cups. I feel like for you, there might be something about like getting past those darker thoughts. Like, you do spread your light by being who you are, but I feel like you might really struggle with darker thoughts, really seeing the good in things, really finding the gifts sometimes, because just maybe because you've struggled so much. We have death. Yeah, so you've been through a lot of transformations. They're asking you to use these transformations to really grow. We have a lily here, which is like a flower that symbolizes like renewal, um, and hope. We have the Ten of Pentacles. So I feel like also you might be a person who's like learned how to kind of like master some of these like physical world things, but I feel like it's sort of like this emotional part that you struggle with. Yeah, we have the Queen of Cups. So emotional part, maybe you struggle with like taking care of yourself. Maybe you're always like, you're not afraid to be yourself. I don't see you afraid to be yourself. I see you like constantly growing and changing. I see you having to like, really, there's a lot of things that have really made life hard for you, I feel like. But that's how you've kind of like been able to act as this beacon of light for other people, is because you've kind of had these hardships. And so sometimes, I think maybe like grounding yourself can help you. I also see like, you have achieved a lot, but I feel like maybe you're kind of like sick of the rat race, or you could be sick of the rat race, or you could be, um, feeling like maybe like a ghost at times, or feeling like you're living on borrowed time or something like that. Let's see what else we have for you though. Time for a nap. I feel like you could be like a really intuitive person. Um, and maybe like, even though sometimes you have trouble seeing the gifted things, you're not afraid to start new things. I feel like this self-care is really important for you. You could achieve your desires by really taking good care of yourself, making sure you get your needs first, kind of watching that codependent behavior or approval seeking behavior. Peace. Yeah. So kind of like finding peace within all the transition, all the turmoil, all the stress and strife that you've been through in your life. Um, I feel like it would be helpful to kind of like meditate or get in touch with your subconscious, get in touch with your dreams about it. Because I feel like maybe you might have a tendency to be very, what's the word? Like denial or something. Like you could deny stuff to yourself, or you have a tendency to like delude yourself maybe about things. And this is just, again with the Four of Cups here, with her being in that rain, feeling the rain when it's like not even technically raining under the umbrella, you just feel like it is. um I feel like maybe you have a lot of options in life too, and maybe you feel stuck. Like I said, with the rat race, you feel like maybe there's been options, but you don't feel like you have options. Maybe you feel like everything is just planned out for you anyway, so why does it matter? And then they're saying like be in alignment with yourself, and this is also like related to your self-care and having this ability to kind of like care for yourself, to empower yourself through your self-care. um can also help you achieve. Also, like, use your wisdom. Like, don't be afraid to like have fun with it, to find the small things that nourish you and give you joy. What else do we have? We have Knight of Autumn, which is like the Nine of Pentacles. Reward yourself for all your hard work, being happily and successfully self employed, cherishing your time alone. Yeah, they're saying you've been through all this transition, you've gone through all this. Like, you deserve to give this self care to yourself. You deserve the sweeter things, the honey and the milk. Um, you know, what else do we have? We have Awakening. Oh, the last pile got this too. Change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness, a temporary pause in action. So this is also like a perspective change. This is like the Hanged Man. Maybe you need to have kind of a perspective change about the things that you've been through and what kind of gifts they may have given you. That could help you achieve your success. We have Six of Spring. This is like the Six of Wands. Wonderful news is on its way. Smart choices that bring reward, success, and public recognition. So this is about liberating yourself. This is about you understanding how hard you've worked to get to this place. You deserve this praise and acclaim. You deserve, to be given, you know, this praise for the things that you have accomplished. We have the Four of Winter on the back of the deck. Set aside your concerns for now. You can make a decision later. Solutions that come from meditation. The need for more sleep or vacation. So yeah, so for you, I'm getting like, you really do need to focus on your self-care. I have four cards here that talk about self-care. So I feel like with this Lighthouse spirit guides, like I said, you do provide this beacon of light for others. You really provide this like inspiring energy for others to follow, for others to kind of like see the path. Like, you kind of create this path for others to see. Through the darkness, but you really need to focus on getting your own needs met, your basic needs. Like, are you getting enough to sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough to eat? Are you drinking enough water? That's those places where I would start. Are you getting enough like relaxation time? Sometimes it's as simple as like taking a walk around the block or sitting in the sun for an hour, and not like, getting mad at yourself for like wasting an hour. Just be like, oh man, that sun really recharged me, stuff like that. And so they're saying, like, I think with this fork in the road too, they're saying you do have this success, because we have the Six of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles here. They're like, you are very successful. Like, you have created a lot of abundance for yourself, and you continue to create, but you don't need to be like totally working yourself to death here. So just taking care, maybe a perspective change on like how you perceive like what it is you should be doing. Like, what is your belief system telling you? Because obviously your belief system is kind of like, it seems like maybe hindering or hurting you at this time. So that's kind of what that's saying. And then enjoying the small things, finding wisdom in the joy of things. So I really hope this was helpful for you. I hope it resonated. I thank you guys so much for stopping by. If this didn't resonate, you can pick another pile. And I appreciate you guys so much. Bye bye.